Yo, what up, my Goonies? It's your boy, Beastly Bader, and welcome to another episode of the Bate Escape podcast. The podcast where I sit and chat with sexy people about sexy things and everything in between. Hey, this is the season 5 premiere of the Bate Escape podcast. I've been doing this for 4 years, and I'm so excited to bring you the fifth. Did you miss me? Because I sure missed you. And hey, if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for taking a chance on this podcast. This is the podcast, again, where I talk about a lot of sexy things. I get really deep with it. I love to talk about intimacy and vulnerability and the intersectionality of sex and really get to know my guests on a deeper level. And this season premiere episode is no exception. I have a great one for y'all. I sit and chat with Adam Chase, XXX, who is a bisexual masturbator content creator. We have a really great conversation about masturbation, but we also talk about his sexual fluidity. We talk about exploring his queerness with a longtime partner of over 15 years. And we also talk about him winning the Bateworld Bateoff for the 2024 year. Um, it's going to be a really great conversation. I really hope that you enjoy this one. I'm so excited to be talking to Adam about his sexual adventures. As a reminder, if you can help a brother out and go share, like, subscribe, leave a comment on this podcast. Let me know that you love it, that you love listening to all the episodes that I've produced thus far. I have a great lineup for this season, and I'm so excited to bring you the rest of the episodes. So, without further ado, enjoy the show. What's going on, brother?
Taking it easy.
Yeah, no, I love lazy Sundays.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, thanks for joining me on the pod. For those listening, I finally got you.
Finally, I know.
I know it's been back and forth between the both of us for sure. Shit happens, but we're here. So I got Adam Chase XXX Omni with the pod, stud, baiter, bisexual masturbator, cocksucker, and pussy eater.
Absolutely.
Those are all great ways to describe yourself.
I think so. Yeah, it's kind of an all of the above situation for me. You know, if I've got a buffet laid out before me, I'm not picky.
Fuck, that's such a fuck yeah, dude. I feel like I'm definitely there with you. And it's a really cool place to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Because I feel like there's not really much hangups.
totally. And it kind of goes back, like when I first started, I guess being publicly out, I guess more than like my friends, close friends and family, and started kind of being online more or less. I actually
Mhm.
wrote a piece for a local queer magazine about like, because at the time that was probably 2016, 2015, and for whatever
Mhm.
reason at the time it felt like bisexuality or pansexuality or whatever you want to call it was sort of seen as almost selfish, or at least locally, where I was in my community. Like it was like I'm not gay enough, nor am I straight enough, to please these people. And so back then I kind of wrote about it, and I think that helped me really come to terms with it. And now it's like it seems like more and more people feel some sort of fluidity. It's much more acceptable. It's much more fun. Um, and so, yeah, I feel really comfortable to be in that space. I really love it.
I know that's fucking great, man. Like I feel on the same level. I think I've come to a place in my sexuality where I'm just like, whatever turns me the fuck on, it's just gonna
Totally.
get me off. But it's new, like it's new energy to me. Like just like being able to inhabit both but still want to explore the other side. Like I would describe
Sure.
myself as like bisexual gay leaning. I mean, I came out as a
Sure.
gay man. I've lived most of my life as a gay man. But I was talking to another podcast of mine, Jason Tantra, and I was just like, kind of going through the motions of just like, to be honest, like I've never really felt part of the gay community. Like I always felt kind of on the outside looking in. And I don't know if it was like what I look like or what I wore or like, the fact that I'm a brown person, but like I don't know. Like, I think more of it was more to do with like, I think I'm really bisexual, trying to be in
Hmm.
this really hyper gay space, and I'm just
Sure.
like, I'm kind of a fish out of water. I don't know. Is that relatable to you
I,
somehow?
I do think that's relatable, especially in the past. I mean, more and more this year, or more and more, as I get older, I guess,
Mhm.
I just feel, oh my cat's mixing this stuff, of course. I just feel very, uh, much more comfortable in almost any space I'm in. Um,
Yeah.
and I think that, I mean, whether it's like a sexual space or not, like I'm I know who I am, and that's what matters. Like recently, I went to the Masturbator Con in Pittsburgh, um,
Yeah. Tell
and
me
that
about
was
that.
yeah, that was my first experience. Um, one in a bathhouse at all. We don't have them where I live. They're illegal, whatever.
Oh, that's a
So there's nothing.
bummer.
Yeah, there's nothing like that where I'm from. And so that was my first experience. One in a bathhouse, and two at like a sort of convention based around sex and sexuality. Um,
Yeah.
and so it was really almost comforting for me to be in a space that was so explicitly queer,
Hmm.
where it sort of made me feel like, okay, I do fit in here. I do sort of belong in queer spaces, like, and the people I met, I made some really close connections and bonds. I mean, as any baiter knows, when you go deep, you know what I mean. Like, if you're able to go deep with someone, like, there's a bond there.
Hell yeah,
Um,
that's real talk, bro.
Absolutely. And so like even going to that was just like really affirming, you know what I mean? To be like, oh, I can exist in a queer space and be comfortable and be accepted and be happy. Because I already know I can be in, I guess, quote unquote, like hetero spaces and be the same as well. So I do agree, like in the past especially, I felt maybe I was an outsider looking in on both sides, you know what I mean? Just wasn't
Yeah.
sure where I fit in. But like I
Yeah.
said, as I get older, um, I feel less and less insecure about that stuff. Um, and so I think, I mean, I also have to attribute it to I've been in a long-term relationship with my partner since we were 16 years old. Um,
Whoa, that's such a look there.
yeah, like way, way, way back. And so we've been together like 15 years now. Um,
Yeah.
and us both sort of growing together and coming to terms with the fact that we were both queer, um, and working that into our relationship to where we have what I would call a much more queer relationship than hetero. Sure,
Mm-hmm.
presenting we may come off as hetero, but like in our day to day interactions with one another, like there's none of those standards that sort of hetero people get stuck in, especially in relationships, and that I think as well queer people often try to imitate because they, when you grow up with those relationships as the examples, whether you're queer or straight, you sort of internalize, those roles, more or less. And so it's been really nice to be able to explore outside of that, expand, grow together in that way, and be comfortable. And I think that's where sort of my comfortability comes from, is being so secure in my relationship.
That's fucking cool, dude. In hearing you speak, it's to me it just sounds really lovely. Like
Sure.
to find your person, right, at such a young age and to like go on this journey together and to like, I
Hmm.
don't know, maybe you were out or you weren't out to each other when you met, but like you begin to understand like and have someone that's a safe space to be like, hey babe, like I'm having these feelings. I want to be honest with you. I love you. Like you're the person that I trust the most. And to be able to share that, that's really
Totally.
cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, like you should be really proud to like be able to have that in your life. A lot of people don't.
Hmm.
The one thing that you were saying before too, the word that sticks out to my mind is affirming.
Hmm.
That's so good. Like it's so like you know that about yourself already. Like you know that you exist anywhere. You're just being your authentic self. But like to then come into this space and people are just like, yeah, come. Like we love it. Like it's really sexy. You are
Hmm.
affirming it because it's like I knew this all along.
But it's sometimes to have that sort of outside, um, confirmation. You know what I mean? It's just nice to be sort of seen, to
Yeah.
be to be seen, to be accepted. Um, Especially in like in my example that I used with at the con, was like in such a public way. You know what I mean? To be seen and in such a vulnerable way.
Yeah.
Um, it was really, like you said, like affirming is like the best word I can use for
Yeah.
it, because like you said, I know myself, I know what I'm about. But to go into a space and have other people see that, accept it, and love it, it was really a powerful experience.
That's so
And
fun.
I also think it's a testament to um, the Bader community writ large. You know what I mean? Like, by and large, you can't say 100% for anything, but by and large, it feels like it's just such an accepting space.
Yeah.
Um, for, you can find a brother who is into the same things as you, even as niche as you may think your interests are. You're going to find someone that you can connect with, and connecting on that deep level, there's a vulnerability there that just is really powerful. And I think that's more true for like the beta space than the like general sex workspace writ large. I
Hmm.
think you zoom in a little bit to that niche community, and
Yeah.
there's just a lot of love and acceptance there.
Yeah, you're totally right. I feel like in the time that I've been in this community, people have just, for the most part, have been really welcoming. And it's just a really great space to be. So had you always known that about yourself? Had you always been a masturbator,
Yeah, um,
exhibitionist?
I think so. I mean, I remember, and I don't want to get too into details because it was very young, and that can be a little uncomfortable. But like from a very young age, I knew the pleasure I could bring myself. Um,
Hmm.
Probably like 5 years old. Um,
Well,
Having like dry orgasms or whatever.
mhm.
So from a young age, I did that, and I also hit puberty pretty early, earlier than most of like my friends and whatnot. Uh, Probably by a couple years and stuff. So I was experimenting with myself like pretty early on, and always knew that about myself. I knew how my body worked, what would do it for me. And as I came of age, I just embraced that more and more. But it probably wasn't until COVID, really, that I sort of found a community in it. You know what I mean? That's when I found
Yeah.
like Bateworld. That's when I found, um, and that's when I started to go. I really identify with this. Like, people talk about like jerking off, whatever, but it's like a lot of the times when I'm doing it, I feel like I'm having like extended, like deep sex with myself. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And
Yes. I do know what you mean.
it wasn't until I found that I figured, it wasn't until I found that sort of community that I was like, oh, this is a thing. Like,
Yeah.
holy shit, like, cool. Like, I'm not like weird about it. I don't have to hide it anymore. And that's also like when I started focusing my sort of content into that way, because it was much easier. I started out doing just like regular, porn,
Hmm.
when I
Hmm.
first got into sex work, and um, I kind of burnt out on it real quick, because just the whole rigmarole of having to like find partners, hoping they're tested, like doing all of that. It was like, I can just do this by myself, and it's one, more satisfying and gratifying to me.
Yeah.
Um, and and two, it's a more unique niche to be in when you're creating content. Like, there's a much more like diehard community base for it. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I feel like I
Hmm.
can I can give something more to that community than I could to the just doing like the regular porn writ large.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, definitely. I feel like, yeah, that's definitely relatable. I feel like when the moment presents itself, then I'm more inclined to do partnered collabs. Like,
Oh,
I don't actively hunt for it because you're right, it is a rigmarole.
Mhm.
The
Absolutely.
the editing is wild. Like, it's just a
Mhm.
constant hustle to find like that next person or whatever, and you're just like, okay, it's fine.
Sure.
Yeah, and but it's just like, yeah, and I feel like I'm more leaning towards just doing like solo content. I mean, obviously that's always like the fun thing that I get to do on my own. And so
Sure.
I'm just like always like, oh, I might as well just record this.
Totally. And that's the
Like
easy thing about it too. For
45
sure.
minutes in, I'm just like, I should probably turn on the camera and get this shit. Well, you're like cracking up a little bit. I don't know if it's like the connection or your mic,
I
but it's like crunch crunch.
you were I was hoping it was just maybe my computer, because you're kind of
Maybe it's like
still.
me. Maybe it's the shitty Wi-Fi here.
That's my Wi-Fi's in and out too. So if
Oh,
we're
you
both
sound good
hearing it, it's
now.
gonna be. Oh, there we
Like,
go. See, it just fixed. I don't know.
I don't know how that,
Yeah,
fucking technology just like had to knock it around a little bit.
that totally had to do something. Had to figure it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I think your ex is super hot.
Thank you, brother.
Um, you do a lot of verbal penis. I can tell you now that I've busted plenty of loads watching your shit. Because you just go into
Ooh.
like the beta, like black hole, So you're constantly switching
Oh
like
yeah.
back and forth. Inevitably, you come up, and I'm just like, oh, yes. Because also too, like this
I
newfound identity of like bisexuality. Like I'm attracted to bisexual guys. Like I'm actually hooking up
totally.
with this one bi dude. He's so hot. He's a tall motherfucker. Super sweet guy. And also that's what I like about bi guys too. I feel like there's a sweetness to bi men because I feel like bi dudes are really in touch with like the feels, Like is that just am I
Maybe
generalizing
more
or
so.
is
No, no. I that maybe it is a bit of a generalization, but I do have to agree with you that like the dudes I tend to be most attracted to are definitely like other bi dudes. That's like the
yeah.
most attractive to me.
Why is
And I
that?
don't
Tell
know
me.
if I don't know if that's just like there's just like a camaraderie there, right? Like a shared
Oh,
sort of we're both in this space of knowing what we like, really. You know what I mean? Like we know what gets us off. Like
yeah.
uh whether it's being with a woman or a man or someone in between, it's like there's just an honesty and a vulnerability to being openly bisexual
Hmm.
um, that I just find really, really sexy. Um,
I
so
think
I'm
you're
I'm
right.
with you there.
Yeah, I think you're right too. Because also too, like bi guys are of like, I got you. Like I see you.
Hmm.
Like you are straight enough for this shit, and you are gay enough for this shit. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying?
Yeah.
Like there's not again like there's not a monolith of a bisexual guy where there's a huge spectrum of that, but like there's an easiness of like I'm not gonna judge you for
Totally.
not being man enough, and I'm not gonna
Hmm.
judge you for being too gay, femme and shit. Like
Absolutely.
it's just easy vibes, like. But I also too like there's this constant like flow, right? Like you
Oh
get
yeah.
broy and then you don't get broy,
Oh totally.
and
I
that's what's really hot.
I do think that's I love that. Like when I can feel that happening, I sort of try to embrace it because it's like sometimes I'm feeling very much like masculine, like you know what I mean, like big guy, like wanna fuck pussy, you know what I mean, like. And then other times I'm like, you know what, I kind of want to just like I want to be fucked, yeah, and sort of being able to lean into both of those and knowing it doesn't make me more or less masculine or feminine or whatever label you want to put on it. It's like it's easy to just be fluid and to embrace it is empowering, really.
Right? Like it
Hmm.
just makes sex so much easier. Like also too, like I was talking to my past guest, and it's just like this idea of like I'm attracted to so many things because most of my sexual energy I'm bringing to the table, so I'm not
Hmm.
having to depend on you to arouse me. I'm already arousing myself.
Sure.
So like if you catch me at that time or if I'm just like genuinely feeling it, like it's gonna be easy sex for the both of us because I'm already
Absolutely.
there, bro. Like,
Yeah,
or
mentally I'm already there.
yeah,
um,
absolutely.
and I don't know if you relate to this either, but like part of like sex for me is when I'm with a partner is I get off on making them feel good, and so like
Oh
I
yeah.
tend to be like
Oh yeah.
like service, you know what I mean, like a service, whatever.
Bro, but that's like a
If it's
level
making you
of
feel
like
good,
a level of sexual like awareness and maturity for sure. Like
I
it's
think so.
very I know that because it switched for me too, and I don't remember when
Mm,
it happened, but it came to a place where I'm just like, okay, servicing you is making me feel better than servicing myself.
absolutely.
It just kicked in at a certain age.
Yeah, it really did, and uh, I can't say I know when it was either. I'm with you there, but
Yeah.
like it got to a point where it was like what really gets me going is like especially like oral sex is like one of my favorite things to give. I don't like getting it very much.
Hmm.
Um, it's not my favorite thing to receive, but I love giving. Um, and I think it's just like a lot of people don't have, I guess, that same connection to bringing someone pleasure. Like there are people who obviously obviously know how to get oral sex, that I'm into it and it's good, and you can tell they're doing it because they have they really want to, because it's going to make them feel good to do that. And there's a difference there between someone who feels obligated to do foreplay in that way and somebody who's doing it for their own pleasure.
Well, that's what I love about like baiting, because baiting is
Mhm.
really just like extreme foreplay.
Totally. Hmm.
Like you're just constantly, well, like at least I am, and I've dealt with like different like brothers on the spectrum of just like you sit there, I sit here, and we're just gonna like masturbate, and that's totally fine.
Hmm.
All the way to the other end where I'm like I'm sucking, I'm kissing, I'm tasting every fucking thing,
Right. Right.
which I feel like depending on the person can be extremely amazing.
Yeah.
But then also to the other spectrum can be really amazing too, because it's like this taboo, like you, I don't know, like you just kind of inhabit, like that's like tantra shit.
No, totally. Um,
Like it's so spiritual at this point in my life.
no, you took the words from my mouth. It's like sometimes, there's just like a good romp and it's just like quick, done, awesome, great, feel good after it. And then there's other
Yeah.
times where it's just like it's deep and connected and like you said, almost tantric. Um, I wouldn't say I like practice tantra in like a sort of official way or whatever, but I relate to
Yeah.
that sort of like being in the moment and only aware of how good things feel. Whether I'm alone or with a partner,
Mm.
just being totally present. The world sort of doesn't exist outside of this pleasure we're bringing ourselves and each other, myself, whatever it may be. And I try to lose myself in that whenever possible, because like there's enough to fucking think about all the time. Like if I can go total tunnel vision and it is pleasurable and it feels fucking good, and I can do that for 30 minutes, 45, an hour, um, by myself or with someone, it's like that is so powerful to me. It's like spiritual for sure.
Ooh. Ooh, you're like speaking my language, bro.
Yeah, yeah, I feel like we're on the same page.
No, I think that's amazing. And I feel like I try to live my life entirely that way.
Mm,
Like wherever I am, just like inhabit like this sexual energy. Not, you don't need to showcase it to
mhm.
externally or like flaunt it, but just in your being, knowing like you have like this power behind you and it brings a lot of confidence, right? You walk through the world just like head up, just being like, yeah, I'm sexy motherfucker. Like,
Totally. I have to 100% agree. I think it's really impacted my life, like since I've sort of found this community, found this within myself, found like this sort of powerful connection you can have with yourself, and with even with others, sure. But like I walk different now. I see the world different. Um, I think, and it sort of blossomed through this exploration of my sexual prowess, if you will. Um,
yeah,
that was the sort of the ember that I was able to sort of build on. Um, until like now, it's like even simple things like wearing like a thong. Even if I'm working all day, there's no chance, I'm having sex with anybody. If I wear
yeah.
a thong, it sort of gives me that that what you were talking about. Like I know I'm fucking hot right now. You know what I
You're
mean? Like
you're so dreamy, bro.
you got me blushing, bro.
Just hearing you speak, it's so good because it's again, it's so affirming because
Mhm.
I feel it. Like I'm just like get this shit. Um, tell me about your experience with Bait World. You are the winner.
I was this year, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I like
It must have been really exciting.
it was really cool. Like previously mentioned, I found the site in 2020 during COVID and whatnot. Sort of found the community there, and so like I mean, a lot of people have talked about how it's changed over time, and I even in my time on there, I can see the changes. But like, there's nowhere else like it. Um, with the user base that's there, with just the sort of uninhibited um, display of your own sexuality, to see that all the different body types, people showing off everything. You know what I mean? There's something to me that's very sexy about that, writ large, of people feeling confident in themselves enough, whether or not like I'm into them, like to just see these people display what makes them them. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? What makes
for
them
sure.
sexual beings, which is just one of the most like primal parts of our existence as humans. Is our sexuality. Um,
Totally.
and so I've been a user and a big fan of Bateworld for quite a while now, because it sort of helped me find that in myself.
Hmm.
And then so I'd seen this was the third year of Bateoff that I just finished that I did win. Um, and I'd seen it the past couple of years and thought that's really cool. Like to do something like that, that's unique. Like to have a sort of game show about it, that's fun. To
Game
gamify it,
show.
that's fun. Um, but I never really thought about it for myself, and then they reached out to me and asked if I wanted to be a contestant in this last year, and I thought, you know what, like my shit's kind of blown up. I wouldn't say blowing up. I'm not like viral or anything, but I've certainly sort of climbed, and now you know what I mean. My content makes
Yeah.
rounds. Like I make decent money from it, and so I was like, you know what, I just need to start fully embracing what this is bringing me. You know what I mean? I need to not be scared about it. There's no reason to be scared. Like worse things, worse I lose, and like who cares? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
No.
I got to interact with really really cool deep um bait brothers during the whole experience, and even be exposed to guys I hadn't really known, and then be like, oh, I love this niche. Like Dean Arrows in particular. Like I wasn't really familiar with him beforehand, and then going through this process together, I'm just like, I love this guy's shtick. You know what I mean? Like he is so unique. He's so in his bag. You know,
That
um,
dude is a fucking trip. I love that
he's
guy.
a riot. He's awesome.
He's so
And
cool.
again, it's just that is his expression of just like uninhibited sexuality, and I think like the way anybody who's able to do that in whatever way it looks, however it looks, it's a testament to them as a person, and their comfortability with themselves. And so, like I said, I got to connect with all these guys and sort of explore this more. It was interesting having like set challenges, um, because a lot of the times my videos are just like for the moment, like I'm just hopping in because I'm really fucking horny and I want to show it off. Um,
Yeah.
so to go in it with this, to like have a sort of have to be like, okay, how am I gonna do this specific challenge? Like where am I gonna do it? um how am I going to incorporate the necessary guidelines that they have for each challenge, so it made it a little bit more cerebral, and it did make it a little more um work like. um
Mm-hmm,
you know what I mean,
mm-hmm.
because there's like a timeline to have like all your videos in and edited
Sure,
and
sure.
whatnot. So it was a bit crunchy there. But overall, that's, it's good to have that sometimes too. If you're going to be in this space and take on something like that, it's going to teach you something. um
Yeah.
because it was a totally new experience. And so coming out of it, like I knew I had some strong videos. I didn't expect to win. I know that sounds cheesy or whatever. But what winner doesn't say that? But I really, like, I just had no. I went into it just totally let go of my reservations and was like, it doesn't matter. I'm just here to have fun, to show off, to you know be porn for my bros, whatever it may be. This is going to be a positive experience no matter what. And it really was
Mm.
like it, like to come out of it with the win like that. Um, again, made me feel seen. That what I'm doing is connecting with people. Um,
Yeah.
that they like what they're seeing when I do these things. Whether it's 5-minute clips like they were for Bait World, or like a 30-minute clip I post on my page. Like it's resonating with people, and that's really cool. They give me a
Yeah.
huge confidence boost, to be sure.
What's been the reception like? What are the DMs looking like?
I'm such a bad DMer. Uh,
Oh no, no, don't tell me that.
yeah, no, I mean, mutuals, I'm better. You know what I mean?
No, no,
If
I
we
hear
if we
that. I
have
hear that.
if we have some sort of rapport, I'm much more likely. But it's hard to stay on
Sure.
top of it. It's hard to stay on top
Yeah,
of it.
I totally agree. But I'm just like, I think people, especially baiters in the community, they see you bros,
Hmm.
performing and like again invalidating and mirroring, right? Like you're watching like
Hmm.
someone like you could be somewhere, in some like crazy town, like not exposed to anything, but they see you, right? They have this little
Hmm.
world of internet, and I always think back to that. Someone like Dean, um, all the contestants, like there's just like there's people for everyone to just
Totally.
watch and be like, that's my body, that's my vibe, that's like what I feel best resembles who I am, and then it gives
Mhm.
confidence for them to, whenever they're feeling inclined to like show up.
Oh, totally.
But it's
I
fun. It's
do.
fun to have them reach out and just kind of be like, "Thank you," I support your
Oh yeah.
shit.
Thank you. So yeah, I love getting that sort of feedback. Don't get me wrong. And there's, plenty of people saying like you helped me be comfortable with this, or I really
Yeah.
liked how you did this. Like a big thing for people right now is the way I drool. Um, and like there's a lot of people being like, how do you do that? Like I've never really thought about being in the spit or drool, but seeing you
You
do
do
that was
drool a
just like,
lot.
oh yeah, oh yeah. I've really embraced it because again, I started getting that feedback. It would happen sort of naturally. Um,
Uh-huh.
and then as I got more feedback, being like, that was fucking really good. I was like,
Wait, so
oh, cool.
how do you get yourself to drool?
One poppers help always. They make my mouth
Okay.
water.
Oh,
um,
gotcha.
that's a big
Is
part of it. And
is that how your body just naturally reacts to bobbers?
yeah, yeah. Unless I'm stoned. I don't drool a lot if I'm like in a stoned video because I
Okay,
get dry mouth.
okay, that's the problem. I mean, maybe that's the problem. I can't drool because I'm fucking high as fuck all the time, so I got like dry mouth.
Yeah, no, that's a big part of it. And I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. Like when someone's trying to go for it and they're really trying to make the spit happen, I don't. It's like it has to just happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
It has to happen naturally,
it,
organically.
yeah, totally. But yeah,
It's
that's just
just
an example of like people reaching out and sort of seeing something they like, telling me, and then me going, "Oh, I'm gonna embrace that," because like the people are connecting with it. So
or also too, like I watch you bros, like people that that inspire me, and like you'll like video, like you'll have like a shot, right? And I'm just
oh
like,
yeah,
why don't I would look good like that too. Like
oh
I'm just constantly being like, how do you do that shot?
no, totally. I mean, I have to be honest. Like with my content, I try to keep it as low impact on me, as as the creator.
Totally.
And so like a lot of my videos and stuff are just like one scene, maybe an edit here or there, but I really don't do a whole lot in that editing aspect of like adding effects and whatnot.
Yeah.
Sometimes I play around with it, but like it makes it so much easier for me to just like set the camera down. A big part for me too is like, yeah, maybe the quality's a little worse because I like to use my front facing camera because I like to watch myself, which is
Yes, dude. Same,
conceited in a
bro.
way.
No, bro, it's not
But
conceited.
it's like it becomes this closed loop where I'm fueling myself,
Yes,
right? It's like,
you're mirroring yourself. You're like you're
yeah,
watching your
and it's
body and
so
fucking accepting everything that is about you that's presented to you at this fucking time and moment and place,
woof, bro,
bro.
exactly. Yeah,
I
that's the word
yeah, I
coming
hear
out.
you. I hear that. I
So
hear that.
another thing that's made it like sort of doable for me to keep doing is because like I know I can do this. I know I'm going to enjoy it. And now that I've got the following that I do, it's like those people. That's what they like about, you know what I mean, about my content. I'm not like overdoing it. I don't overcharge either. I don't think. And I keep it like that because I know I'm not putting the most effort. Like some guys, like like Cocky Prince, someone like that, that is
Oh
just an
shit.
incredible
That
editor.
that's
You know what I mean? Like
next level. Yeah, his editing. Oof.
it's incredible like what he puts into it, you know what I mean, and it's super trippy,
Yeah.
super goony, super awesome.
Yeah.
um
I
but
think if you could do it, you do it, right? Like if
yeah,
that's a
totally.
knack, and you could tell he's really passionate about it. He's like nerding on these effects. Like he loves to
Hmm,
add it. You can tell 'cause it goes through your work.
totally.
Um, but I like your shit. It's very like casual, like
Yeah,
casual sex. Like
yeah,
you're getting dressed for work. You put the camera down and be like, "You want to see me? Do you want to see me like get dressed for work?"
right.
Or you put a shot of your hairy butt crack.
Yeah, totally. It's like
I'm like scrolling through your shit.
I love that. I love that. I was wondering if that's what you were
I
doing.
am because I was just
I
like,
love
oh,
that.
what else can I talk about this dude's porn stuff? It's good.
No,
You got a little bit of everything. You got some piss and cum.
yeah, I've gotten into that lately. um
You know the stuff that I really like you watch you doing. There's this one video of you and you're like in bed and you're like I think you're like gyrating in these like little
oh,
red shorts, like little
yeah.
red briefs. That's so like demure.
I That video is so old, and it's funny when I see it come back around because somebody subscribes and just throws out the auto post.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to just go look at those to see what that person was watching when they decided to when they decided to subscribe.
That's
Um,
fucking fun,
it's
bro.
a fun throwback, absolutely. But I've just gotten really comfortable. It's like not too much. I feel like it's like authentic and genuine. That's my
Hmm.
biggest goal. Is like for me these days, it has to feel like I'm being genuine about it. If I go 2 weeks without posting, it's because I'm not feeling inspired to have sex with myself in front of a camera. You know what I mean? Like, and that's that.
Totally.
Um,
I feel like a lot of the times, a lot of that shit is for me.
mhm,
Especially when it's so in depth and so perverted and so just in my mind, in my own
mhm.
debate. Like I'm not gonna be bothered posting that shit.
Oh,
Um,
totally.
but also too, like no one needs the bells and whistles. Like I'm the same way. Like I'm just like, you know what? I don't have time to edit. I got other shit to do.
Hmm.
Sure, if I had an editor, but I'm not gonna waste money on that shit.
Yeah, yeah. Not
But
at this point,
I
anyway.
think yeah, I think it's accepted. Again, I love like amateur, like with the iPhone, it makes me feel like I'm in the room with you. Like I don't need you to
Bro.
like turn on these huge fucking lights for me. Just like put the camera on the stand and get to fucking
And
like
just yeah, totally. And I do want to say like there's nothing wrong with being into that super polished stuff. Like if that's your
no, it's
gig, if
great.
that's your
Yeah,
bag, that's great. But like
sure.
it's nice to know because I agree with you totally. Like my favorite like porn, if I'm watching porn, is like I always want to see like I want to know it's real. I want to know that like
They're
it's
feeling each
genuine.
other, right? Like they're
Yeah,
really
or
that they're fucking
themselves
hard.
even like
Yeah.
they're not just like so many of the clips that you'll see on like Twitter or whatnot that have 10,000 retweets, 100,000 likes, whatever, you know what I mean? And it just feels so contrived. Like that's something that I've like noticed recently is like as like gooning and baiting and stuff sort of hits the mainstream like it's been doing. Um, you get those people who are just like doing it because that's what gets the clicks, and I feel
Mhm.
like you can feel that. Like it doesn't
You
connect the same.
can. You
Um,
can.
so like I would much rather see someone like set up their phone like without any editing, set up their phone, lay back, sit down, whatever they're gonna do. You know what I mean? Because that they're getting into that mindset. They're doing it for themselves.
Uh-huh.
They want to show people. They want to show off. They want to see themselves. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's you feel that energy.
Listen, if you're doing sex work and if you're showing off yourself online, you're into yourself.
Yeah, yeah, one way or another,
And that's
absolutely,
okay. That's
and that's
totally
fine.
fine. That's a beautiful part, and that's why we watch because it's like you get to record it for yourself, but then we get to reap the benefits because it's like
Hmm.
you're gonna eventually post it, and I'm gonna see some balls somewhere.
Totally. I mean, I've gotten into the point now, like when I'm recording videos, and I'm
Yeah.
doing like facing whatever, I'm like talking, I'm like, dude, I'm watching myself do this, and you're gonna be watching me do this, sort of talking to the audience, even though they're not there yet. It's like knowing, it's the anticipation of knowing that other
That's
people are
what
gonna see this and be turned on by it. They're gonna want to fucking masturbate to me masturbating. Fuck yeah.
That that's the part I gotta get like better at. Like I'll like put up on like I'll like start to record myself and I'll just be like showing off and I'm just like speak like you need to like engage like it just and then inevitably I'll just be like yeah whatever. I don't know
Yeah.
but then again it goes back to that being like authentic like
Authentic.
not
Hmm.
so contrived like I don't want to start like mouthing something that sounds really forced but just be like no just look at my boner bro and like
Yeah.
not even speak if it's gonna like ruin the
The vibe of
exhibition
it.
is yeah like I'd rather just be like okay silence
Hmm. And
turn
that's totally, you
around
know what I
and
mean?
you're
That's totally
fine.
fine. I think my super verbal stuff has really only come around um in the last year, maybe 2 years, like to where I felt like I was doing it without thinking about it. Um and
Yeah.
so it's a process to get there, you know what I mean? To sort of not feel like you're trying to force anything because there's also that pressure like you're saying, like you feel like, oh, say something, dude. You know what I mean? Like you're being
Yes.
silent, but it's gonna, either way, whether you're silent or talking, if you're being genuine with yourself about it, it's gonna come across. Like the audience is gonna catch on to that, whether it's silent or not.
Yeah, absolutely. But also too, like I don't I try to use my socials as more of like a get to know me too. Like I'm,
Sure.
like I don't always post nudes. I'm interacting, I want to like know what's going on.
Hmm.
And I didn't like get that in the beginning. I thought it was gonna be like all about me and like showy. And I'm just
Sure.
like, okay, like nobody knows who the fuck you are. And there's something to be said about like having like a personality, you know,
Hmm.
like a point of view.
Hmm. A
Um,
voice, you know what I mean, that comes
yeah,
through.
because it's
Hmm.
like, who are you as a person? Until like, I don't care. I'll share my socials, my Instagram, and where I'm more like talkative and like chilling
Sure,
versus X, which is more show offy. But it's always nice to like see someone like casually grab a beer with friends and be like, oh, like look how
sure.
lovely, like they're having a
Like
really
they're
beautiful
normal
time.
people. um, Totally.
Yeah, wonderful.
There is something about going into a space, say like the Masturbator Con. I was an invited guest, and so my name was on things around or whatever, and it felt super weird.
Mm.
But um, and there were some of those guys that were just kind of like, whoa, like you know what I mean, like so good to, and I'm so grateful for anybody who came up and talked to me, and anybody that I got to meet, touch penises with, whatever. Um,
Oof.
but for the most part, there wasn't any of that sort of pressure around it, and that's what
Hmm.
made it so comfortable. Is like I was going into it knowing I was an invited guest and hoping that, like, just you never know with people that if they're going to be try to push themselves on you, like try to do too much. That's going to make me really uncomfortable. I'm already socially anxious as it is, and so I was a little worried about that going in. But most people were not like that. It was like all about consent, all about just like meeting and connecting, and it was really powerful in that way. And so it is nice to also be seen as a real person, not just an online penis, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's why I've been like, I'm here in Palm Springs and I'm hanging out and I meet people and I introduce myself as Beasley and this is what I do. And it's
Hmm.
nice to just be like forward facing and just like own it. I think
Yeah.
I'm I think for so long I've just kind of been shy around the subject and kind of just like toying around with like what I really want to do online. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
listen, someone's buying it. And
That's the
those are my
thing.
people. Those are the people that I'm
Exactly,
catering
bro.
to.
No, exactly. That's what sort of like made this have some longevity for me.
Yeah.
Is just finally doing and not caring, not comparing myself, not caring how my
Mm.
shit looks compared to others, just doing
Mm.
what I was doing because I enjoyed it. And if even one person saw it and connected with it, then that's better than feeling like I'm having to put on a persona
Yeah.
to be someone else. I really do just try to be myself. And since I've sort of let go of that, that's when
Yeah.
I garnered an audience. You know what I mean? And it's just like
Mm.
it's so easy to say. It's easier said than done to just let go of that bullshit. But
Yeah.
really, once you do, the people who seek authenticity find you, and it just makes it so much more enjoyable to do. Um, I
I
never
think
saw myself doing sex work for as long as I have. Um, but like I said, it just came around, and once I accepted what I was, who I was, stopped comparing, it was like just a world of difference it made to me. Um,
yeah, you like stop dicking around with like things you should be doing and you just do it.
you just do it. Hmm. Totally. It is, and it like I said, it sounds so almost like so obvious to say these things out
Yeah,
loud,
yeah, yeah.
but really, when you're in the thick of it, trying to find yourself or find your community, your audience, it can feel overwhelming and daunting to be like to
Mm.
not try and copy, to not, and there's nothing wrong to be inspired by stuff, whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But to
Okay,
find your
you just had a key word, inspired.
yeah, yeah, and I like to think that I inspire uh, masturbation, from guys.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And if they, want to do what I'm doing, that's fucking awesome. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I was just saying, like, in terms of just like your content, like
mm,
you can get inspired by people, but don't be like ripping people's shit
yeah.
off.
Oh,
You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
No. Yes. Yes.
So I think that's always important too. And I think a lot of the people who try to want to come out publicly, I get a lot of DMs saying like, oh, how'd you do it? And I'm just like, oh, just be
Hmm.
yourself. And they're just like, they're not. And you're just like,
They're not.
wait, take a step back. Like you can just be, and that was a hard lesson for me to learn. Listen, I got put in my place too
Mm,
to say like, bro, you can just be yourself and be sexy. Like you don't, what is all this other bullshit? I got called
yeah.
out so gross. And I was like, oh shit, my
Oh
bad.
man,
I need to do some more inner work. And I did.
that's
And
the biggest
now
thing.
I'm here.
I mean, that's the biggest part of it. It's like, I mean, especially like people who are still in the closet or whatever, they reach out, and I get those still too. Like, how'd you come out? How do you have a partner who accepts these things? And it was just like, it. it's not a fancy, fun answer, but it's just like it's about honesty and communication
Mm-hmm.
with yourself and with others. You know what I mean? It's
Mm-hmm.
about bearing a genuine uh your genuine self
Mm-hmm.
to the
Mm-hmm.
people around you or just to yourself. It's hard enough to do it to yourself sometimes, you know. That's where you got to start. Is accepting it there, and again, just open and honest communication. And if people don't want to be around you or it, like, that sucks, but that's their loss always. If you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
authenticity breeds authenticity. Gen- Genuineness attracts genuineness. uh and
I agree too. That I was saying that to someone the other day. I was like, baiter see baiter. Like you're
oh
gonna
yeah.
know it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be
Hmm.
like instinctual. Like you're gonna feel it. There's
Totally.
definitely a baiter energy that baiters inhabit
Totally. Even if you're not like
because we're so
dating with
goofy.
someone, but they are, it's like there's like a connection there. I Like I said, I
Mm.
met some really cool people in Pittsburgh. Vincent Van Goon being one of them. He's sort of newer in the X space, but he's a very talented artist and draws penises like nobody else.
Oh,
But
nice.
regardless, like, we had fun while we were at the bathhouse and whatnot. We connected, but like afterward, when we like go out to get dinner or something, there's still that bond there. It's not only sexual. It's like we connected there as baiters, and like that expands to just how you interact socially.
I think you just described the brotherhood.
It's
And it's true. And I think that's the part where I find most arousing. Just,
mhm,
like you can be anywhere and like you understand. Like they're part of the brotherhood. That's hot.
mhm, mhm.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. Um
it's. Go ahead.
no, I was gonna talk more about your ex.
Oh yeah, totally. Please.
Now that I have it up. Like
Um,
what can people see in your ex? Like what kind of content are people gonna
so if, like, you were
encounter?
kind of saying how you have started putting like non-sexual stuff too. I've
Uh,
been on Twitter or X since like 2010, and so I have a like a personal,
Whoa.
yeah, like way
2010?
back. Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
Oh shit, yeah, it says you joined May 2018.
That was my alt that I made in 2018. I've
Oh
got, what I was
shit.
saying is that I've got like my Adam Chase as like XXX is my alt technically. Um, I've been on my
Um,
other Twitter. I have a personal Twitter that I'm much more personable, like politics, whatever, much more like that on. And so if anybody
okay.
wants to, follow me for those reasons, I would be happy to share my username there. You know what I mean? It's nothing sexual whatsoever. It's like night and day. And that's how
Yeah.
that's part of how I keep my life organized, I guess, in a way, and separate is like to have these two different platforms to go
You like
to
to
do
like
specific things.
compartmentalize your life.
A little bit, you know what I mean?
Just
I,
keep
I
them
need
separate.
to some extent. I need that for my own mental well-being, to have
Hmm.
a separation sometimes,
Yeah.
from that, to be able to switch over and not get notifications when I, for whatever reason, if I'm feeling drained, if I'm feeling whatever sort of way. It's
Yeah.
nice to have that wall there. But on my alt, my fucking porn Twitter, it's like you're gonna see just mostly masturbation. I'm retweeting masturbators most of the time. Um,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I do a lot more liking, and you can't see that anymore, unfortunately.
Isn't that so
It's
fucking
so fucked.
dumb? That's like the dumbest thing they could have ever done.
Absolutely.
Silly.
It was really
Silly,
just to
silly.
protect racist content, I believe, but that's a whole nother conversation. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so like on my alt Twitter, and I post a lot of clips that are part of longer videos that are on my, my fan site or whatever.
Yeah.
But I love to show off, like, I'll scrub through a video and try to find my favorite clip from
Yeah.
that longer video, and that's what I post on Twitter. You know what I mean? It's something that.
Same. But the thing that's so hot is that you're so generous with your clips. I mean, some of these are like 2 minutes long, bro.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's another thing. Like, I hate a 15-second clip that cuts off before anything happens. You know what I mean? Like,
Bro, you just read me. I feel like my shit should be longer too. Like I'm starting to get longer. I at least try to do at least 30 seconds now.
sure.
At
And
least. That's like a minimum. I try.
and
I try.
and for everybody's, balance is different.
Sure.
Whereas I'm not posting every day. Maybe I'm you see posts every day because auto posts from Just for Fans or whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
curating those obviously, and sometimes I go back and delete them because they get annoying. But whereas
Yeah.
I'm not like posting every day, where like you are a lot more consistent. You're posting clips, pics much more frequently than I am, I would say.
I just talk a
Um,
lot of shit on my ex. Because I've
hey,
always got
that's
something to say. Like something my
yeah,
mind's always going. So I'm just like, fuck it.
totally.
Someone needs I'm usually in bed and I'm like, someone needs to hear
Stream
this
of
stuff.
consciousness.
Like fucking
Absolutely.
it's a way to just give out my intrusive thought. Fuck it.
Absolutely. And that's
Because I
why
feel like
and
it's healthy, right? Don't you just like
mhm,
need a space to just be like, you can't keep this shit stuck in your head. It'll make you sick.
it'll make you sick. Absolutely.
Can I just say, can I like fanboy on you? Like, I think
Yeah.
my favorite clips of you are probably definitely the ones from behind.
Mm.
Like, you're literally straddling this chair and you got your like
Oh.
dick and ass and like your crack is wide open. Like,
Hmm.
I feel like very butt focused. As much
Butt
as I
focused.
enjoy penis, I'm very butt focused. Like, I'm always just so
Oh,
curious, like, how hairy is the crack, bro?
sure, sure. Yeah,
You
show
know
me.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just let me see. Um, no, that's what you're mentioning, but that's like one of my favorite positions. I don't know if the one you're seeing is where I'm actually like coming, but like if I
Let's
sit like
see.
that long
Oh.
enough, I can just like have a full orgasm without touching myself,
See,
with my dick
that
pulled back
is
like
what
that.
I'm talking about. And then the other clips that you have too is that you're performing oral. I believe
Mhm.
it's your wife.
Yeah,
Yeah. Those are actually beautiful clips too.
that's yeah.
That's
My
probably one of my favorite things to watch
oh, dude, I'm with
in
you. Yeah.
terms of bisex or straight sex. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
Hmm.
very sexy.
Hmm.
Well,
Yeah,
it's
thank you, bro.
fucking awesome. Yeah, and of course. You're so welcome.
But
How do you what are your plans for like what are your future plans for like sex work?
so that's a great question. I'm riding the wave right now. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to put any sort of finality nor any sort of like longevity to it. Like I'm gonna write it as long as it feels good to me. It feels genuine. It serves me both
Yeah.
financially and really like spiritually slash emotionally. Um,
Yeah.
because that's what it does a lot for me is to be able to when I'm sharing this stuff, it's sharing a part of me that I feel like in the past people would have been repressed from sharing or kept from sharing in a way and whatever way it may be to be ashamed of masturbation at all or any of that stuff it brings me a lot of joy and sort of satisfaction to be sharing it, so as long as that's feeling that way I'll keep doing it, you know what I mean, as long as opportunities present themselves I'll keep doing them, um, being invited to things or being part of shows or whatever,
Hmm.
and so that's kind of the future for me. I do have non sex work related is like I do have a master's degree in history and I've always wanted to sort of be a
Oh.
high school history teacher. Um,
Oh, that'd be cool.
and so that's something like a couple of my friends have started teaching at um, our alma mater high school. And it's just like if this starts to slow down, that's probably the direction I'll end up going.
Well, that's
Um,
cool.
but for right now, like sex work allows me to work a normal job 2 days a week. I get to be home with my pets, with my partner, and our house, our garden. That's what's so important to me right now, and that's why I'm really grateful to sex work is because it allows me to spend so much time doing what I want to be doing instead of selling my labor. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, I think that's
So
a
and
really
that's a
great
big
place
thing for
to
me is
be.
that sort of balance, and sex work allows me to do that. So as long as it allows me to keep doing that, I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
That's great. I think that's a great place to be. I definitely relate to the part about just it bringing you joy. You know,
Hmm.
as long as you're having fun, showing off, and people are receptive, and um, I'm having a good time at it. But
Hmm.
again, there's times where I don't like I'm not feeling it or like
Yeah,
it's a bad week and you take time off. But yeah, I enjoy
I think
that.
it's important for people to know that like people who share sexual content online, whether it be for fun or they're making money on it or whatever reason they're doing it,
Mhm.
they're not always on. You know what I mean? Like what you see being posted and whatnot is not people's whole lives. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think that's an important distinction to make. Like there's a whole community that is all about being chronic every day, whatever, and not, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. That's for you to make, but like, I don't want people to put that on me and expect me to be on all the time.
Yeah, that's
In
very
that way.
real. That is very real. I feel
So,
that I think the only times that I've ever come across in the community where it hasn't been the best interaction is when the expectation from
hmm
other people are just like, okay, why aren't you being sexy right now? Or like,
right.
why aren't you wanting to do this? And it's just like no, like
Like
that.
you say your penis is always horny. Like, what's up?
Yeah.
Why aren't you right now? It's like, Brian, like, it's like, it's not
That,
like
that's that's the gag. Like
Mhm.
the gag is I'm posting this dick pic while I'm having dinner and
Totally. No,
watch your
absolutely.
RuPaul's Drag Race.
Like I have this clip. Oh, I haven't posted in several days. So I'm out doing something, or I'm with people, or I'm just rotting on my couch. But like, I'm gonna post this because people are gonna like it. That doesn't mean I'm like in the thralls of the goon at the moment. You know?
That's like we're fucking pulling the patch. Like that's the real shit. Like
hmm
brother, I'm like mowing the lawn while I'm like posting this shit. Or I'm not most of this shit's like auto pose. You can like purchase like these third party softwares that'll just like do it
Post for
for
you.
you. See,
hmm
I post all my shit myself.
Me too,
Unless
except for the just for fans auto posts. But
yeah, unless it's a just for fans auto post, like it's me speaking at that present time. So
yep.
like if I'm eating tacos, if I post that I'm eating tacos, I'm eating tacos. I'm not like da da da, thinking about whatever.
Totally
Unless I
good.
have, yeah, unless I have like some saved sex shit that I did earlier in the morning, then I'll post that later. And then, but
hmm
yeah, for the most part, all my shit is legit, and I feel like yours is too.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. I mean, of course, there's a litany of, I've already mentioned it, the auto posts, but for the most part, it's like it's me. It's just me doing this. You know what I mean? It's like I don't have a.
What is a mount? What's some mountains? What is that on your banner?
Let
Is
me.
is
They
that
are.
the no? That's not the. What the fuck am I thinking, bro?
Let me go
The
look.
Grand Canyon is that the Grand Canyon? That's not the Grand Canyon. It's just like an open shot of like a
Oh
cavern.
yeah, no, that
Oh,
is um Canyonlands National Park.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
that's a photo I took when I was there.
Oh shit. Okay. Did you bait after or before you took the shot?
After.
Nice.
Um, but when I found out that like X wasn't gonna allow any sort of nudity in banner photos, it was like that's I just chose a nice
Oh
photo that I had.
yeah. I feel like a lot of people got like the shit revoked because he
Oh
started
yeah.
putting on the shit. But did they even say that? Like, where was that announcement made?
It's like I think it was a couple of years ago now, or I think somebody told me that you. I don't know if
Oh
it was ever
yeah.
actually enforced on a whole thing, but I remember
Yeah.
like a mutual had been like, "Hey, like you're more likely to be shadow banned or get your profile deleted if you
You're
have
totally
nudity in your
right.
profile picture or your header."
You're totally right. I feel like when my profile picture at one time it showed pube, like it didn't show
Mhm.
full dick, but it showed pube. And someone was like, "Bro, I don't want your shit to get deleted, so take it down." I was like, "Hey,
So
thanks for looking up,
yeah,
bro."
thank you for looking out. Exactly. That's another thing. It's just like a lot of these dudes are we're all looking out for each other. That's one of my favorite
No,
parts.
definitely. Listen, if you're in the game, like you're gonna want to like tell your brother what's up, right? Because you don't want to get this
Totally.
shit. You don't want to mess with the bag money.
Oh, exactly. Exactly.
Um, this is so cool to talk to you, dude. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so
No,
finally glad that we got it together. It's been a couple of weeks, maybe longer than
it's
that, but I'm happy that
it's
we
been it's
got
been it's been maybe a month even. But no, thank you for your patience. Thank
Of
you for like
course.
that extra nudge because I just got lost in it, and so that extra nudge was much needed for me. I wanted to
It's
do this, and I'm so glad you invited me. I've been hoping I get that invite one day because I see when you post and shit. So
oh, bro, you're making me blush. No, I definitely wanted to talk to you again. I'm so fascinated with our community and just people who are showing themselves and like really taking it to like a deeper level, like something
hmm
that's really personal and like beautiful to you and that you find joy and is affirming.
hmm
And that you're able to like in small ways just like set like a nice example, and
Thank
just
you.
be like a stand-up guy, a stand-up pervy exhibitionist
Yeah,
that
there's
like
nothing. You know what I mean? Like there's
knows
nothing.
history and wants to be a history teacher one day. Like that's awesome. Like that's such a beautiful way to live your life, I think.
Thank you. Yeah, and we keep coming back to it, and I think it showed here, like us being able to connect. Is it's like there's just an authenticity that like you can be a normal, nice person and just be also obsessed with penises and butts and you know what I mean, sexuality and being sexual and like you don't have to hide any of that or be ashamed of any part of it. Like it all makes you who you are, every little piece of it. You know what I mean? Whether it's the history, whether it's traveling, whether it's masturbating, whether it's having intercourse, like it's like all of those are a part of me, and I'm not ashamed of any single one. And I want people to sort of embrace that within themselves for sure.
Fucking wolf. Preach, brother, dude. That's so hot. All right. Well, with that said, thanks so much again for my guest, Adam Chase. You can find them on X Twitter at Adam Chase triple X. That's Adam Chase
Absolutely.
XXX. Do you want to drop anything else? Like
No,
anywhere
no,
they
you
can
said
follow
it
you?
all. Just check out my Twitter. I like to post
Also,
quotes I
just
like
for
to put there.
fans.
Also, just for fans, link on my Twitter.
The link on the
Um,
Twitter, absolutely. Go follow them. It is not safe for work, but it's
it is
hot content.
it is
It's
not safe for work. My Just for Fans has like over 100 videos now at this point, I think, of a lot
oof.
of deep goony penis sex. So like if you're into that thing, I've got it. I've got it for you.
Hell yeah,
Absolutely.
you do. And lots of like hairy butt crack shots. That's awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, lots of hairy butt. Lots of hairy butt. I like to show off my hairy butt.
That's amazing. All right, y'all, go check out Adam show off the Bait World Bateoff winner this year. Hey Adam, thanks so much for joining me. That was really hot to talk to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me again. It was a beautiful conversation and it flew by. I can't believe
Yeah,
it's
I
already been
know.
an hour.
I
So
know, right? It goes by so quickly.
absolutely.
We're definitely gonna stay in touch. Thank you all so much for listening. I'm BC Beta, your host, and you're listening to the Bate Escape podcast with Adam Chase. Thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed our convo, and we will see you on the next episode. Hey, what's up? It's your boy BC. Did you love listening to that episode with Adam Chase? What a really cool guy, right? So sweet, so deep, so vulnerable. I love talking to Adam about his work and his sexuality and all the wonderful things that he's doing with his content. Make sure that you go follow them on X at Adam Chase XXX. You will not be disappointed. It's obviously not safe for work, but you're gonna have a sexy damn good time. Again, thank you so much for listening and supporting this podcast. I really appreciate it. If you're so inclined, share it with a friend, share it with a neighbor, share it with a coworker. I'm sure they'd find it really interesting. You could listen to this podcast everywhere you pod on Apple, Spotify, Google. Um, Again, please go like, share, subscribe, follow, leave a comment. Let me know what you want to listen to next. Who should I talk to on this podcast? I want to have a conversation with you. Again, thanks for tuning in. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode, and I'll see you on the next one.